Here we are with Rek'Sai, one of my favorite champions in League of Legends. Let's see if she can save the Lurk archetype. This has to be good. Oh. 3 mana 3/6. Lurker, Lurk. When I lurk or attack, grant Lurker allies everywhere +1/+0. Round end, place me into your deck and level up when I attack with 10 plus power. So when she attacks, or when Rek'Sai is on top of your deck, all your Lurker allies get +2/+1 basically, right? If you attack with a Lurk. Wow, wait, that's actually really good. When a Lurker ally attacks and Rek'Sai is on top of your deck, it gets 2 attack. That's already like a lot of power. So a lot of people were worried about getting to certain thresholds to make Lurk actually matter, and Rek'Sai already looks like she can like make that go really, really fast. Okay, it's a good start. Okay, so you've seen this. There she is.
I'll check for Xer'sai. Oh no.
Oh, it looks so cool that you see like a little shark. Okay. This music though, it's like the Jaws theme almost.
Well, someone has to, no? The queen. Nobody move.
Okay, wait, I have to lower my sound a little bit, I think. Alright. Hey, that's cheating. Do it by lurking 7 times. Okay, I already see the overwhelm. That's very good. Wow. Oh. When I level up, create 3 random Lurker followers in hand, and then she has the same effect, but she doesn't go back into the deck. This actually seems really, really powerful, because Lurk seems to be a pretty aggressive deck, so the fact you can generate other Lurker allies in or Lurker followers into your hand seems really, really powerful. Wow, that's like this is a pretty good game finisher already with the overwhelm. Xerxa'reth, the Under Titan. 5 mana Lurker, Lurk. 2/6. Attack if I have 8+ power. Give me Fearsome, Overwhelm, and Spell Shield this round. Hey, it's a better Sivir. How hard is it to get to 8 power on turn 5? With Rek'Sai on top of your deck, if you can do that once, well, I guess it is pretty hard. But the fact you get these, like, finishing games is gonna be no problem with a Lurk deck. Wow. The art on these cards too, so spooky. Yeah, there's the Lurk. Oh man, that is cool. That might do it. That might just be good enough. Wow. All right, I'm very optimistic now. Let's look at all the cards that got revealed. Okay, hi, hello. I'm on the top left for once because on the bottom right you couldn't see the entire card. But I am very, very excited about what got shown today. Let's start by looking at Rek'Sai. So a 3 mana 3/6 is very overstated, and the fact that he's probably not even going to be a 3/6, like if you lurk on turn 1 and turn 2, maybe with Rek'Sai on top of your deck even, that means he can come down as a 4/6 or even a 5/6 on turn 3. And there is nothing that can stop that. The problem is that it's very negative tempo when Rek'Sai goes back into your deck. So I'm not even sure if you necessarily play Rek'Sai on turn 3. Maybe it's to completely deny like a strong attack from your opponent and you really have to drop her on turn 3. But I don't really see any realistic scenarios for that. So in most cases, I expect that if you drop Rek'Sai and you're not ready to level her, that she will always go back into the deck, like no matter what you do. One thing that can be considered both an upside and a downside is that you don't actually have to strike with her. All you need to do is start an attack and then she will level. This is an upside because, well, it's more consistent to just put her on the stack or put her on the combat stack, I guess, and then she levels. But the downside is that if you play her on a defensive turn, there's no way to attack with her, unless, you know, there's something in a card that we haven't seen yet. But I don't think Rek'Sai is going to be able to start a free attack. In a Lurk deck, I mean, the cards that do start free attacks, like Cataclysm and the Aurelia Champion spell, I don't see Rek'Sai being played with that necessarily, especially because Lurk is limited to once per turn, which is kind of a shame, but, you know, if that's Riot's way of balancing a deck, I'm all for it. Probably something they should have done with Azir Aurelia. But yeah, the downside is that you can use something like Single Combat or a Siphoning Strike to level her on the defending turn. But like, this is going to be such a unique way of playing. I really like the idea of having a Bone Skewer in a deck like this too, because instead of Rek'Sai just disappearing into your deck, you can just put her on top and maybe play her again, or maybe you play her on a defending turn, you use... No, wait, that doesn't actually work. You play her on the defending turn. No, Bone Skewer wouldn't actually be that good, huh? No, Bone Skewer wouldn't work, because then you just draw her, and then you're still stuck with, like, her not being on top of your deck. No, Bone Skewer wouldn't do it, but Call the Pack might, because it lets you put a card from your hand on top of your deck. And this is also Rek'Sai's champion spell, which is actually pretty insane in my opinion, because you're already going to be pretty sad having Rek'Sai in your hand if you can't level her right away. With Call the Pack, you can put her on top of your deck, and you can attack with your Lurker allies to give +2 instead of +1, because it's Rek'Sai on top of your deck. And you generate 2 Lurker followers. This seems to synergize really, really perfectly for a Lurker deck, and it also seems like you're going to be able to generate some value. And I just realized that Call the Pack has the Lurk icon on it. So does that mean that if you Call the Pack is on top of your deck, that Lurk activates? Wait, that's so cool. We're going to have spells that do more than one thing instead of just being burst or slow. That can now also be Lurk spells. Have we seen that before? I can't remember a spell being anything else but just bursts, slow, focus, or fast. Wow, that's incredibly cool actually that they're doing something new, if it is something new, but I seriously can't remember anything. Okay, and then Xerxa'reth, the Under Titan. Attack, if I have 8+ power, give me Fearsome, Overwhelm, and Spell Shield this round. This is another insane game finisher. Like, on turn 5 onwards, you're going to have that 8+ power. I think it's pretty optimistic to think that you're going to have 8+ power on turn 5. That seems pretty unlikely. But if you're going to attack with Rek'Sai and Xerxa'reth, you're going to be ending the game. There's no doubt about that. That is so much Overwhelm power, and there's almost no way to stop Xerxa'reth from attacking you either, because not only does it get Fearsome, so you can't jump block it, it also gets Overwhelm. So if you block with something big, she's still going to push damage, and it has Spell Shield. That's insane. That's literally like a better Sivir. Seeing these cards and seeing some of the top end ways to finish games with Lurk, even though we haven't seen Pyke, makes me very happy and very optimistic about the direction this is taking. And this is really like a deck that I would truly enjoy playing. At first glance, it seemed pretty aggro oriented, but this could easily be like a more value focused mid-range deck. With all the cards that you're generating, like Rek'Sai levels, she gives you 3 followers. Rek'Sai's Call the Pack, you put a card on top of your deck, which in a Lurker deck you're not unhappy to do. You get 2 random Lurkers. That's just like this whole swarm feel. Like that feels like it's the Void. I love this direction, and I'm very, very happy with what they did with Rek'Sai. I almost can't imagine a Lurk deck being bad after seeing this. And there are a few more cards that got revealed yesterday. First is the Xer'sai Caller, a 3-mana 2/3 with Lurk and play Predict. Playing Predict cards in a Lurk deck is going to be very, very important. So even though this seems pretty bad as a 3-mana 2/3, at most you're going to have this as a 5/3 on turn 3 if you have Rek'Sai on top of your deck. If you Lurk on turn 1, you Lurk on turn 2, and then one of these turns you have Rek'Sai on top of your deck, this is a 5/3. That's pretty aggressively statted. It doesn't really do that much. But the fact it predicts means this is almost always guaranteed to attack with Lurk active. So the fact that it has all these things coming together, like it has everything that you could ask for in a Lurk deck from what we've seen so far, makes me think that this is going to be a pretty important piece in Lurk deck. And predict is just a great keyword. It gives you consistency, which is exactly what you want in card games. And then there's a 0 cost card, Feral Prescience. I think it's pronounced Prescience, which is just Burst Predict. So this is obviously meant for Fizz decks. They're finally giving Fizz some more support after nerfing Bubblefish and Twisted Fate to the ground. This is a pretty powerful card. I don't really see how it's going to be used, because we have Scrying Sands, which most people, including me, expected to be very strong, but didn't actually end up being that strong. So I don't know, maybe in a Lurk deck this is just pretty good, but I still think I'd prefer running Scrying Sands to win a trade. This might be better for Lurk decks though, because you can use it before you attack to guarantee the Lurk. But that's really the only thing I can think of right now that it has going for it. So neat card. I don't really see how it's going to be used in the deck though. Careful Preparation, 3 mana burst. To play, place a card from your hand into your deck. Predict, then create a copy of the chosen card in hand. This seems a little bit like Stalking Shadows, except you're basically trading a card in your hand for another one, and then you're going to draw the same card again the next turn. I'm saying that right? Like you shuffle a card into your deck that you don't need, they predict, and you choose the card you want back in your hand, and then you draw that same card the next turn. That's honestly very powerful. That's a very powerful effect. And importantly, you can also choose champions and spells with this, which is something Stalking Shadows cannot do. Yeah, I expect this card to see a lot of play, but I don't know if it's going to be in a Lurk deck. This just seems like a powerful tool for Shurima. The only thing is that you're not really doing anything right away, but imagine in like a burn deck or in an Overwhelm deck, and this finds a Rune Runner. That's pretty insane, just getting access to 2 Rune Runners. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be a powerful card, but it's really hard to see how it's going to be used in decks right now because we haven't seen the full package yet. If I think about it right now, like this is strong in any Zillion deck because you can get 2 Time Bombs. It's going to be good with Kahiri, and it's going to be good to activate Lurk. And that's about all I can think of. Oh, actually, this is really good with the Kyrian Sump Workers too. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of combos you can do with this card. I can see it. I expect this to see quite a bit of play eventually. All right, and lastly, we have the Xer'sai Dunekeeper, 6 mana 3/6 Overwhelm and a Lurker. So this is like the other one, the 2/6. I completely forgot the name because it was like some void name. But the one that is like a 2/6, and if you have 8 attack, you get all the keywords. This is a lot more simple. This is just something you drop on the board. You're going to attack with it, and you're going to overwhelm and slam your opponent. I don't think this is good enough. I think 6 mana, like you have to activate this. You have to activate Lurk 4 times, and then you have a Alpha Wildclaw. That just doesn't cut it, I'm afraid. But still, if Lurk decks seem to take that approach, where they're more Overwhelm focused, because Rek'Sai gets Overwhelm on level up, we have the 5 mana 2/6 that gets all those keywords with Overwhelm. This is Overwhelm. I really like, actually, that there are so many Lurkers that have Overwhelm, because it seems to be the best way to finish games. Because your units are going to grow insanely big, and Overwhelm is just really important to have as a keyword, or elusive. And since Pike is like kind of like an underwater ghost man, it would not be surprising at all to see a deck that goes into the Overwhelm and elusive direction. But that's something we'll have to see, because we don't really know that until Pike gets released in probably 2 days from now. So all in all, I am very excited. I cannot wait for Pike to tie this all together. So far, what I've seen looks very, very good. I think it's now going to be as broken as Xer'sai, and thank God it's not going to be, because Lurk is limited to once per turn. It seems like you have to play your deck in a really unique way, like putting units on top of your deck that you need, then drawing them, then maybe shuffling them back, playing a champion that has insane stats and then puts herself back in the deck. That's very, very unique, and it's going to create a very unique playstyle that I'm extremely excited to try out. So that's going to be the video for today. You can expect to see me again in 2 days with a video of my favorite champion in League of Legends. So that's going to be... you might see me with my party hat again, because I am super stoked for that.